Oh my god, I cannot believe this is one of the games in Squid Game Season 4 USA. My mind is blown right now. In today's video, I'm going to be going over what the games could be in Squid Game Season 4 USA in 2026. I'm so excited to tell you guys. You won't believe how far Squid Game can really go. I mean, of course, we saw the original 3 seasons, but that doesn't scratch the surface of how far Season 4 USA will really go. I'm talking about crazy games that will make you grab your hair and scream. If you're ready to get into all that with me, then like and subscribe and let me begin. Now, sure, we all know that Squid Game is a really disturbing game. I mean, I remember how I squeezed my phone so hard when I was watching the scene where the recruiter was playing Russian roulette with Gi-hun in season 2. I nearly peed myself. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But that's what Squid Game's about. It's an experience, and that's what I love about the show. And what I love about the show is that they are not just maintaining the quality, but they keep making it better and better. I mean, who agrees with me that seasons 2 and 3 are better than season 1? Sure, we love season 1, but Haewon Deok sat down and thought, how can I make my audience drive even more crazy? Well, that's what he did, because I nearly lost my mind in season 2 and 3. And season 4 will be even better because we're going to be looking at a side that we have never explored in the Squid Game universe. And this exploration will be led by a new director. And let's be honest, people can do a lot when they know they have a lot to prove. And believe me, whoever is going to direct Squid Game Season 4 has a lot to prove because Haewon Deok has set a bar so high. But the more important thing we are going to see in Season 4 are the games. I mean, Squid Game is nothing without the games. The games are what makes it Squid Game. So let's jump right into the games first. The first game will be Red Light Green Light. I like to call it the initiation game. I know you might be wondering, why? Well, that is because the players go into a red light, green light, and when they come out, they change. A lot of them don't survive that first game, and those who do well, let's just say they're very traumatized, and are made aware of how dangerous the games really are. Let's pick one point of view, maybe a pretty young woman in her mid-30s whose business and marriage has fallen apart, and the only way she copes with life is taking things as a joke. So when she gets into the games, and one guy sees her and finds her attractive, like how Thanos found player 196 attractive. But she's had her fair share of not so good men, so she doesn't want anything to do with men anymore. But the player keeps hitting on her, and when the games begin, everyone pauses. He then tells her that if he can do a backflip from the paused position he's in, then she'll go out with him when they leave the games. Clearly, everyone is naive at this point. They don't know what they really walked into. They don't know what Squid Game Season 4 has in store for them. So their assumption is they will both make it to the end. It's just quite funny and sad at the same time. Now, the only reason this young lady stays still is because she doesn't care about whatever this guy is saying. But in his effort to convince her, he does a very cool backflip and laughs. Maybe some other guys are even cheering him on and clapping for him. You know how guys are. And it turns into this very funny moment. But then, bang! The guy who did a backflip in red light, green light, and every single player who laughed and clapped are shot. Maybe the blood of the guy even spills all over the young lady's face. At this point, she and everyone who is still alive come face to face with one fact, that they are not playing a children's game anymore. But even at that, a lot of people panic and they try to run, but they are all getting shot down one by one. You see, panic is a mother of death in red light, green light. Sure, people die from moving, but more people have died from panicking in red light, green light, especially when the first person gets shot. That's when everyone starts running to the exit. Now, after the panickers have all been shot down, this pretty lady looks down and sees the guy who is trying to impress her lying lifeless on the floor. Let's just say she manages to reach the end and passes red light, green light, but after that win, she won't feel like she won anything. And it's not just her. By the time they get back to the dormitory, everyone who played red light, green light game will look like they ran into ghosts. And that right there, that's the feeling of horror, of fear. What the hell have I gotten myself into is exactly why I said red light, green light is the initiation game. It makes players take the game seriously and they realize what deep trouble they're really in. At this point, they will try their very best to try and make it to the end, to do whatever it takes. Yeah, that's where the whatever it takes mentality comes in. You know, this makes me wonder if there was ever any moment in the games that someone actually voted to leave the game and never came back. Or is everyone in the games just as greedy as Gramps, player 100? Anyways, after the players have been introduced to the realness of the games and they decide to continue to play, that's when things will get even wilder. They'll go into the second game the next day. The second game is Marco Polo. I can already imagine that there will be players who are scared of water by itself. And I already feel bad for the way things are going for them. The Squid Game version of Marco Polo won't be the normal game where one player who is called Marco closes his eyes and looks for another player who keeps shouting out the word Polo. Oh, come on now. You didn't really expect it to be that simple. Definitely not. In this version of the game, the players would be divided into groups because they can't play with such a large number at once. It would still be played in the pool. And inside those groups, a player will be assigned as Marco. He will be given a knife and he would be expected to kill the other players in the pool with him. Now, unlike the normal Marco Polo game, the players who are Polo won't go around shouting Polo. No, instead they will try to stay quiet and try to avoid getting killed. The Marco player has 10 to 15 minutes to kill all the players in the pool, or else he will be shot by the guards. I know what you must be thinking. Won't all the Polo players just gang up on the Marco player and eliminate him? Well, that's a serious loophole, because when someone else has a knife, and even if there's a group, no one wants to attempt getting close to that person. It's very scary. So what if all the players were blindfolded to equal the playing field, or in this case, the playing pool? And maybe the Polo players will be given tiny shields to protect themselves from the Marco player who is after them. It will be a bloodbath, quite literally, because the water will be soaked in blood. And to make matters worse, if any player takes their blindfold off, they will be shot immediately. All the Polo players have to do is kill the Marco player or survive until the time runs out. And all the Marco player has to do is kill every Polo player in the pool, which is not so easy for him, right? No. It will be challenging and a very frustrating game that a lot of people will get killed in. I wonder which will take more lives, stabbing or drowning. I'm really thinking about that. And just imagine how cool it would be if the cinematographer decides to go God mode and gives us shots from under the bloody water of the players standing and fighting. Oh my god, that would be so cool. Now, the third game that will be played is the spinning wheel. The wheel will have the colors red, green, yellow, and blue in it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Spinning wheel is a game where you have to make a choice, so it's technically not a fun game to be played in Squid Game. Sure, they can raise the stake by saying that if you pick red and it doesn't click on red, you die. And if you pick blue and it doesn't land on blue, you die. But still, it won't be much fun. For this version of paintball, you'll be picking your team. The spinning wheel is just a selection process, sort of the game like we saw in the first game of season 3. Red will be for the red team and blue will be for the blue team, and so on. You must be itching with anticipation to know what games they'll be playing in their teams. Well, that's going to be juicy. After spinning the wheel, the teams will play paintball in a maze. Yeah, the game where teams compete in shooting against each other. As always, there will be a timer to keep everyone on their toes. Everyone who is shot with a paintball will leave the game and wait outside the maze to see who wins the game. Oh, this is where those served in the army will thrive. If this was Korean Squid Game, I'd be scared because all the men are forced to train in the military, but in America it isn't mandatory. So I guess those who served in the military and those who played in a lot of action video games like Call of Duty will do very well there. But still, the players have to carry and protect their team because it doesn't matter how good they are. They have to perform as a team and they either qualify or fail as a team. Now, when all the players of the losing team have been eliminated in the paintball game, that's where the bloodbath begins. The soldiers in a pink tracksuit will line them all up and shoot them all. Yeah, this is the real deal. Not the paintball gun, but rather the real machine guns carrying real bullets. It will be crazy. Out of 4 teams being red, blue, green, yellow, only 2 teams will come out alive. It will be so crazy to watch. Everyone will get into an action movie mode. And I wonder, what will help the players win? I imagined a cowardly player who was hiding throughout the game while his teammates were being shot. And then the winning team thought they had won and gathered in one place to count how many of them were left. The coward appeared and shot them all. It will really be a painful moment in the games. A crazy one and a very painful moment. The 4th game on my list is Try Not To Flinch. This game is pure cruelty because the players will be asked to pick a teammate. Just one teammate. And we know how this works. People will pick their friends or people who they bonded with throughout the games. They will be thinking that they have to compete against another team, so they will pick their friends. But that's not the case. Instead, the teammates they pick will be their opponents of some sorts. It'll kind of be like the marbles game in season 1, where one player faces one player one-on-one. It'll be really wild because in this game, there will be 3 rounds like a fighting match. And anyone that fails 2 times out of 3 will be eliminated. What they have to do is make their opponents flinch. So each player will have 3 opportunities to eliminate their opponent. Here's the thing. 3 rounds doesn't give space for a draw. If players 001 and 007 were playing against each other, and 001 won the first round, and then 007 won the second round, whoever wins the 3rd round wins, and the loser is eliminated. Crazy cruel game. But that's the reality of Squid Game. It is crazy and cruel. Moving on to the 5th game on this list, which is Hitball. This is similar to dodgeball, except that it's a lot more deadly. In this game, the ball is slightly heavier and harder than dodgeball. It'll be a lot harder than a baseball, but smaller. And one hit to the head can make you go loony. Now, to take things up a notch, this game will be played on a trampoline, and players who get hit with the ball will be eliminated. I know you think it sounds so simple, but do you know the amount of athleticism that is required to bounce and dodge and throw a heavy ball at the same time? It will be crazy and fun to watch. And what's worse is that some players might snap an ankle or something like that. And that will be very bad because of the last game they will be playing. You saw how Junho couldn't participate in the jump rope because of her ankle. Well, that will be the story of some of the players in the next game. The 6th and final game of the season is Race Squid Game. I hope you see why I said they would need those ankles, because they will have to run. You might be wondering, what the heck is Race Squid Game? Well, I'll tell you. This is technically Squid Game with a lot of sprinting. In this game, there will be a track, maybe filled with sand, and at the end of the track, there will be a knife or 2, depending on the amount of people that will make it to the final game. If 6 players made it to the final game, then 3 knives would be positioned at the end of the track. So the amount of players is split in 2 to determine the amount of knives. What the players have to do is run to the end of the track to pick up a knife. And yes, they can fight, push, kick, and shove others while they run to the end of the track. But once someone picks up a knife, that's where the real violence begins. Maybe the first person who gets there will take all the knives and fight the others off. Whichever way it is, there will be so much violence. It's impossible to think that more than one person would walk out the game alive. I've made it to the end of this video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed every second of it. I love making these season 4 USA videos. I know it's not out yet, but these are all theories at the end of the day, and you never know. Out of all my videos, I might get one correct. I usually am right with my theories, and you guys kind of doubt me all the time, but I prove you wrong, especially with that Thanos theory. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe once again. I will see you guys in the next video, and if you want to check out my recent video, you most certainly can. See you guys in the next one. Peace out and take care. Goodbye.